with you, everyone. Mike Corey alongside Dr. John Giannini. St. Louis coming off just their second loss of the season, John, on Tuesday at Rhode Island. Still 24-2 on the season. VCU winners of 10 in a row. Doesn't get much better than this.
No, we have two terrific teams battling for first in the A-10 and NCAA tournament positioning. St. Louis started the week in great shape. 18th in the country. They don't want one loss to Rhode Island to derail them. VCU firmly on the bubble. They need a big win. There's a lot at stake tonight.
Two teams that are very explosive and just exciting to watch here tonight.
These teams are super athletic and they play extremely fast offensively. But that high pace doesn't always mean a lot of points. These teams are strong defensively as well. But these athletes will get up and down. It'll be fun to watch.
All right, John, sounds good. Time now for tonight's starting lineups, beginning with VCU.
At the 1, we got me, Nick Lewis. At the 2, we got Brandon Jennings, all the way from Richmond, Virginia. At the 3, we got J.J. and Tracy from Orlando. You know what it is. At the 4, we got Barry Evans. At the 5, holding us down, we got Lazar Djokovic. Passing on to Deion Brown for the St. Louis starting 5.
I appreciate you passing it over, Nick. For our point guard, we have the conductor, Quentin Jones. For our 2 guard, we got Trey Green Island. For our 3rd, it's me, Deion Brown, number 13. For our 4, we have Amari, the franchise McCautry. And for our big man, Big Robbie Avila.
All right, thanks, guys. Our officials tonight, Brian O'Connell, Matt Potter, and Kip Kissinger. Rematch between these two. St. Louis won the first meeting in Richmond, 71-62.
St. Louis won it with their defense, holding VCU to a season low. We'll see if VCU can be more effective. They feel they got to finish, be physical, getting the ball to the rim.
Rams with the first possession on offense here tonight. Here's Brandon Jennings. Shot clock down to 5. Lewis for 3 from deep.
Big-time shot by Lewis, who is shooting nearly 50% on threes over the last 3 games. However, St. Louis did a good job keeping VCU out of the paint. That's really their primary game plan, limit VCU's dribble penetration.
Here's Deion Brown to the hole. It doesn't go, and he gets the rebound. He gets it out to McCautry. That's a 3. That's no good. Tap back out by Robbie Avila. McCautry inside to Brown, and he lost it out of bounds on the baseline. VCU leads this all-time series 17-7. The Rams have won 6 of 11 games here in St. Louis. The Billikens in the first meeting, they picked up their first ever win in Richmond. They're now 1-10 all-time in Richmond, Virginia.
No, we're talking about 2 amazing programs over here. VCU 26 straight winning seasons.
Jennings for 3, no good. Rebound by St. Louis and Quentin Jones.
So we already see the fast pace, but the defense is stopping the break.
Avila trying to go to the cutter, and it got knocked down that time by Djokovic. Tracy on the run. No. Tip, no. Rebound, Jennings. Couple extra cracks at it here for VCU. Now a 3 in the corner, and that's good. Jadrian Tracy knocks it down.
VCU is so dangerous because they're really predominantly a dribble penetration team, but a lot of capable shooters, as we've seen here early in this game. And these teams are so deep and balanced offensively, you don't know who's going to have a big game on any given night. Makes it hard to prepare for either of these teams.
Billikens have turned it over on their first 2 possessions, and VCU has knocked down 2 3-pointers here. Here's McCautry trying to counter. That's way off and rebounded by Lewis. Barry Evans now for 3. That's good. What's going on here, John?
Yeah, VCU hot early, but St. Louis playing off of Evans. They're guarding him with Avila. He takes advantage. On the other end, look at this. They're sagging off of McCautry, daring him to shoot. He's missed early on.
Brown for 3. Doesn't get the bounce. Rebound by Barry Evans. VCU has had 3 different players all knock down a 3 on their first shot. Lewis, Tracy, and Evans. Djokovic on the crossover. Checked by Avila. Gets the basket.
And that's a matchup. That's a matchup St. Louis doesn't want. They're trying to keep Avila off of Djokovic because Djokovic is so good going to the basket.
And speaking of going to the basket, Brown gets the first points for St. Louis here.
And the best passing big man in America delivers on the pick and roll like a 6'10" point guard.
Foul's going to be on Brown. St. Louis now 1 for 5 from the field. VCU is 4 for 7.
So Avila is playing off of Evans, and Evans just, without hesitation, says, I'll take that if you give it to me. Shoots it with confidence. Then Djokovic getting matched up against Avila. Djokovic is super forceful, explosive going to the rim. They want to try to keep Avila off of him.
Double clutch runner doesn't go that time by Terrence Hill Jr. The follow is there, and the put back for 2 by Djokovic.
So Hill comes off the bench. He's the leading scorer in America coming off the bench.
And a block by Djokovic getting back on D on Brown's offering. And that's the travel, yep. Earlier in film session yesterday, John, the 3 that Evans hit, it wasn't really contested, but they said, hey, we'll take a contested 3 by Barry Evans all day.
Yeah, that's by design. So there's a military saying, if you try to defend everything, you end up defending nothing. You spread yourself too thin, you can't do everything. So you have to decide, what are we willing to give up? VCU, they're willing to give up some open threes by McCautry. That deflection by Djokovic, that's because he was so far off McCautry. That missed 3 by McCautry because Djokovic was so far off. On the other end, they're giving up a little bit of space to Evans.
Yeah, McCautry's 0 for 2 from three-point range, and Brown is 0 for 1.
Early substitutions by VCU, such depth on both sides.
Jones, that's nice.
That's a heck of a one-on-one battle because Bell at 6'8" is one of those guard all 5 position guys, and Jones just wins the one-on-one battle.
Baseline, turnover. Stepping out was Barry Evans, and it takes us to our first timeout of the night. Back in St. Louis, VCU on top 13-4 early. How important is this game for the Rams here tonight, John?
So interestingly, their net is 45. That's actually the NCAA's definition of the bubble team. The ideal bubble team typical is net 45. It's a coincidence. That's exactly VCU. So how do they get over the hump? A quad 1 win would go a long way. Winning at St. Louis would be a quad 1 win. Their metrics are good. Their strength of schedule is good. Their offensive, defensive efficiencies are good. The only thing missing is a quad 1 win. And certainly forcing this early turnover here by St. Louis is another possession won. That was just not being on the same page between McCautry and Brown.
Coming right out of the timeout as well, too. You saw that on the first 4 outs. You go back to that play.
But this is, well, you see the full court pressure. So he's expecting McCautry to come to the baseline, but he doesn't. But the point is, if VCU doesn't get that pressure, that turnover doesn't happen.
And I know head coach Josh Schertz is wearing blue, but you can't get it to him. Down low is Michael Bell now. Here's Djokovic inside. Bell with a tip again, and they're just fighting hard inside here tonight, John.
VCU's come in with phenomenal energy. They've clearly taken it to St. Louis here. It's not just the early 3-point shooting now. They're getting back on defense. They're locking down. They're hitting the offensive glass. VCU winning the effort battles right now.
This current win streak for the Rams at 10 in a row is their hottest stretch since 2018-19 when they had won 12 straight. Billikens here with McCautry, feeds it to Brown, slices through, gets there for 2.
Brown is a unique player. At 6'3", he does most of his damage around the basket, shoots over 60%. The Billikens are filled with teams that defy explanations, like Avila at 6'10", really passing and shooting like a guard.
He's got 4 of their first 6, and what a spin move here to the hole by Tyrell Ward, but he couldn't finish.
So that's the fast pace, but VCU, excellent transition defense.
Brown in the corner, working his way in, finds McCautry on the cut underneath. That's no good. Brown the offensive rebound. Out to Jones, hands off Trey Green. Tough shot there, it's short. Kept alive and rebounded by Terrence Hill Jr. Stop and pop, and he got blocked there by McCautry. Saved, though, underneath here by Nick Lewis, and he stepped out of bounds on the baseline.
So even though Lewis stepped out of bounds, it's another example of another hustle play favoring VCU.
Let me ask you this about VCU defense here as you look at Josh Schertz for the Billikens. They trail at 15-6 early. They're not helping as much, right, defensively here. They're not going to let wide-open shooters have cracks at it like St. Louis has done all year.
Well, it's scouting report defense. The drivers on St. Louis are very clear. It's McCautry, it's Brown, it's Thames. The three-point shooters are very clear. It's Dunlap, it's Sharma, who are both in the game now in green. So it's really knowing the personnel and how to close out on people.
You just said it, John. Sharma, number 9, Dunlap, number 11 in blue. Here's Sharma, a threat at any time. Now it's out to Kellen Thames. His pass deflected, got it back. Thames scores it.
That was a good defensive play that just bounced the Billikens' way. That was good fortune. That was an execution or effort. That one literally fell into Billikens' lap.
Traveling violation on Djokovic. Fourth turnover for the Rams. 3 turnovers on St. Louis so far. Billikens shooting 4 of 11 from the field. St. Louis 6 of 14. Phil Martelli Jr., what a great job him and his staff have done here at VCU. If they get a win here tonight, John, they've got to be right there for a potential at-large bid. But we were just talking as a travel here on St. Louis to his father, the great Phil Martelli, and he was saying how, you know what? Your goal is to win the conference championship every year. I wouldn't even worry about, you know what I mean? We talk about this at-large thing. It's like they want to go. There he is tonight. Talked to him before the game. They want to go and they want to win the A-10.
Yeah, no question. Be nice to have a plan B and a resume good enough to get in just in case, though. But he praised this team's toughness and chemistry, which we see here tonight.
Hill. Step back, goes to the corner. Ward, it's a 3, nails it.
So credit for Ward making the open shot, but how about the playmaking of Hill? This guy leads VCU in scoring, leads them in assists, and leads the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio. Smart and efficient.
Here's Dunlap for 3. That's no good. And rebound put in by Jennings back to his teammate.
VCU is doing a terrific job chasing the Billiken shooters.
Hill, he's fouling on the 3.
Again, I credit VCU's defense. They are attached to Dunlap and Sharma, hip to hip. So that this 3 is set up so nicely. Look at the ball handling and then confusion by Thames getting too far off a board. That is how Jonah Hinton got 9 threes in the upset win for Rhode Island against St. Louis. St. Louis is the best team in the country at not giving up threes. Number 1, holding people to only 27% on three-point shooting. But they've been breaking down. Leaving shooters open last game and this game. But right here, Hill getting to the line. This is what VCU does at a super elite level. 9th in the country in made free throws a game. These guys play with force and get fouled a lot. It's something to watch in this game. St. Louis is actually a little foul prone. It's the one defensive weakness that's been consistent with St. Louis.
Hill made 2 of 3 at the foul line. The foul was on Quentin Jones, by the way, his first for St. Louis. Here's Dunlap, wide open 3. That one is off. And the box out that time by Jennings. Couldn't get the rebound, but it got knocked out by Paul Otieno for St. Louis. We're back on this Friday night from St. Louis. VCU 20 and St. Louis 8. Mike Corey, Dr. John Giannini. What do you got so far, Coach?
I'm really surprised at St. Louis allowing threes against Rhode Island and here tonight, because prior to that, they were the best team, and they still are the best team in America at preventing threes. They have been leaving shooters open that are very uncharacteristic. Coach Schertz said, I feel like we plateaued, but sometimes to break above that plateau, you need some adversity. That's what Rhode Island has given us. Now, do we use that as an opportunity to get better? So far tonight, the answer from that would be that challenge is not being taken on well.
That's a good point. Tuesday, their only conference loss is Dunlap goes over the table to try to save that one. They lost 81-76 at Rhode Island. And here's the other thing. You talk about their three-point defense. How about their three-point shooting offense? They're the best in the conference, 40.8%. They make the most per game at 11.4, and they're 0 for 6 here tonight.
And number 2 in the country in three-point shooting themselves. This team has been dominant all year long. Now, with their lack of shooting, I credit VCU's defense. Watch the way they guard Green, Dunlap, Sharma. They are literally attached at the hip. They are never leaving those players.
Hill. Djokovic, 4-3, no. And it was Thames that had his hands on it, but couldn't bring it in for St. Louis. And now we're going to have a foul here on the floor.
And Jennings just with active hands on that. I mean, Thames has this rebound, and Jennings just comes in with the quick hands. Jennings known as a great athlete, but evidently it's not just his feet and legs that are explosive, quick hands.
Foul was on Dunlap, his first for St. Louis.
So Jennings is what I call, he is a playmaker on offense, play breaker on defense. Hill in this case, I'm sorry. No, actually that was Jennings, yeah. Jennings is an incredible play breaker.
Here's Hill now for VCU. Ball knocked out of his hands, and St. Louis does get a steal, and Trey Green's got it. Off the screen for 3. No, 0 for 7 now tonight. Hill's got the rebound. Terrence Hill to the corner. Tracy, and Dunlap got a piece of it.
Yeah, that was good defense by Dunlap. He did get a piece of it. That's a good thing. He forced the miss. Ball just went out of bounds. Yeah, that's a terrific closeout, and you see the fingertips on it. That's good defense. And good officiating as well.
Jennings gets it into Bell. 9 minutes gone by first half. VCU by a dozen.
So Green is assigned to defend Hill nose-to-nose, too, and never leave him.
Jennings off the window.
It's a talented, terrific talent on both sides. This is going to be fun to watch. Both teams play 9 guys, and any 9 of those guys can score 20-plus on you any given night.
Consistency, versatility, depth. You're right. Both of these two teams. Otieno now to the hole, and he's fouled. He'll have 2 free throws coming. Jadrian Tracy with a foul for VCU. It's their first of the night here with 10:26 to go in the first half. And Otieno trying to get a couple points for the Billikens at the free throw line here. Sunday morning on ESPN, the ESPN app, we got Women's College Game Day. The crew is going to be in Columbia, South Carolina, getting you set for Ole Miss in South Carolina. That's at noon Eastern. It all starts at 11 with Game Day coming up on Sunday on ESPN and the ESPN app. The SEC continues to dominate women's basketball. Could easily have 11 teams in this year's tournament based on the net rankings so far. And a lot of action, games coming up at 2 and 4 o'clock as well. So a big day on Sunday in women's college hoops. Another takeaway. Billikens have it. Down by 12 here, 22-10. Thames a little out of control. Green, they got taken away by Lewis for the 2.
That's just balling. Defense is pressuring, active hands. We talked about the aggressive offenses, but I mentioned this in the opening. High pace doesn't always mean a lot of points. These defenses are aggressive too.
Here's Sharma. It's bumped by Lewis, kicks it to Thames. Tough one there by Thames, doesn't go. Otieno, the rebound, he's fouled again.
Yeah, VCU's disruption defensively is all over the place. Another athletic, aggressive defensive play, that time with Lewis. Green never saw it coming. So, fun fact, I love strength and conditioning. I love guys who try to get stronger, faster. Fun fact on Otieno, he bench pressed 185, which is the test they do at the NBA Combine, 23 times. Get this, no one in an NBA All-Star game ever got more than 23.
That's pretty crazy.
The highest is Blake Griffin at 22. So Otieno is freakishly strong.
Yeah,
I would have liked to have seen what Karl Malone could have done. They started that testing after he played, but yeah, Otieno's interesting that way.
That's a good point. You saw Tracy go out a moment ago for VCU. He's got both of their fouls here in this first half. Wild runner by Lewis doesn't go. Djokovic got it knocked out of his hands, and now all of a sudden, St. Louis coming up with some plays on the defensive end. They've had no field goals, though, over the last 4 minutes, and they got it taken away. And here's Lewis again. He's rejected by Thames. Green for three. And Chaifetz Arena is now alive. Barry Evans. Djokovic. Fouled by Otieno.
So we predicted what we knew. This was going to be an athletic up-and-down game with a lot of exciting plays. Defense leading the offense. Aggressiveness on both ends. Depth on both sides. Look at Thames. Talk about great athletes. Thames multiple time with the play of the day on SportsCenter this year. And then the top three-point shooter in the A-10. Green finally gets an open look because in the half court, that's why you run. Both teams' defenses are so good. It's way easier to get a clean look in transition than it is in the half court where these teams are so well schooled.
Substitutions here for St. Louis as one more for Djokovic at the free throw line. This is a real treat, John. You and I were walking in here yesterday, and we were just kind of talking about how big it feels, right? To be able to be on these type of games, this crowd, this sold-out environment, fans watching. Hope you're enjoying this one here tonight. 26-15, 1 versus 2 in the A-10. Here's Green. 8.5 to play here in the first half. McCautry. Trying to get through Bell. Somehow he does. And he's fouled.
This is simply manipulating the defense and allowing McCautry to go one-on-one in the middle of the court. There's no help side when the ball's in the middle, and Bell is a terrific defender. So this is athlete versus athlete. And sometimes, so execution as a team's important, but any coach in any sport will say sometimes those one-on-one battles determine an awful lot.
It's going to determine an awful lot in this game here tonight, too, as well. Free throws 4 for 5 for each team in this first frame. Bell over to Evans, trying to drive, and is that going to be an offensive? Yes, it is, says Matt Potter. He pushed off. Good call. St. Louis possession.
So I want to comment on something we're not seeing. We're going to see probably no mid-range shots in this game. What Evans is doing is what both teams love to do, what McCautry just did. They force the ball to the rim. Both these teams get more close-range two-point shots than anyone in the country. St. Louis is #1.
And from deep, it's Green. He misses. Rebound, Djokovic. We've had 8 turnovers for VCU so far in this first half, 6 for St. Louis.
St. Louis is #1 in the country, and 87% of their shots are either at the rim or threes, almost no mid-range.
Jennings knocks down a 3.
And VCU's #14. They're 83% of their shots are from 3 or at the rim. No mid-range.
Well, they're having their way so far here tonight as Avila now finally gets into the act for St. Louis.
St. Louis's best success has been on pick and rolls.
Top scorer for the Billikens, Robbie Avila, 12 points, 7 a ball game. First 2 tonight. And another timeout as this one goes out of bounds.
It really is like a Final Four slate, and the contrast between Houston's defense and Arizona's offense is great, and Michigan Duke, what giant brands. They've started a national conversation. Why can't we schedule more non-conference games like this late in the year? It's good for everybody.
It's been awesome, and we're looking forward to it tomorrow. 29-19 here tonight at St. Louis on this Friday night, getting your weekend started. VCU, Bell, count it, on the slam dunk. Their largest lead has been 14 It's at 12 right now, and St. Louis is yet to lead in this game tonight.
You know, VCU has been controlling everything, and when they drive baseline, they're taught to cut from the opposite wing because the defense rotates off that wing. Well done.
Brown, nowhere to go, up to Green. It's an NBA range three, and he hits it. How good is he, John? 47% from three-point range this season. First in the A-10, third in the nation.
And 50% in A-10 play. And again, he got some room. The challenge is not giving him room.
Bell, he tries to counter for three and does.
So I am fascinated by Bell as a three-point shooter. He only made 2 all last season. That's his 17th already, and he's shooting over 50% on him.
McContry, a little push off there on Bell, tries to get some room out to Brown. The runner got it again. He's done that a couple of times here tonight.
Brown shoots 61% from the field. All the other guys with that kind of field goal percentage are 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers. To be his size and finish that way is unheard of.
It's right back to your point earlier, John, about three-pointers and layups, and they just saw it on the previous two possessions.
They will not take a mid-range shot. Right there, forceful towards the rim. And they'll take that because it draws fouls, creates offensive rebounds. How about the hustle by Brown?
So, into the chairs and the bench of VCU.
The leadership from St. Louis, the unselfishness and poise comes from Robbie Avila. The hustle, energy, raw motion, that comes from Dion Brown. He plays like this in practice every day as well.
It's like the Derek Jeter play there, right? Going into the bench, going all out for it. What a play.
So Bell, again, he makes less than 1 3 a game, so they help off him some. But he's a low volume but high efficiency guy, making 55% on them after just making 2 all last year. He's worked on his game. The odd thing with Bell, he shoots better on threes than he does from the free throw.
How about that? Here's Hill for three. That's no good. And the rebound pulled down by Quentin Jones.
To the rim.
Yep, once again. But it's about finishing. That was the issue they had the other night at Rhode Island.
That time I thought Jones avoided contact rather than absorb it.
Djokovic for three. That one's good. VCU is 7 of 13 from three-point range.
Djokovic only made 4 threes last year, and that's his 17th. So St. Louis might have to adjust their defense, not to what these guys have done in their career, but what they're doing lately.
John, 7 different players have had 1 three-pointer tonight for VCU.
Yeah, that's extraordinary.
Not quite sure what you can do about that. You're going to have to make some adjustments. You're right. Here's Brown. No, and nobody there for the rebound. It goes right into the hands of Jennings.
And that was a mid-range shot and shows you how good VCU's defense has been. That Billikens are doing things they don't want to do right now.
It's going to be a hold on Trey Green for St. Louis. First on him, 5th on the team. And the Rams have controlled this game from the start. Back to the Djokovic three.
Sometimes it's not who your best shooter is, but who's most open. You see Avila playing off Djokovic, so he shoots it with confidence. Player development's a big deal. At this level, guys spend a lot of time in the gym so that you do improve. Bell and Djokovic, huge jumps in shooting this year.
Hill, runner no. Bell fights for it. Avila's got it. What about trying to get Avila a little bit more involved in this game here?
He's usually, it's a good point, and because it's so much in transition, and there's another transition shot. Robbie Avila is not the fastest guy, so this game right now is a little too fast for him to be heavily involved.
So McContry with 4 points cuts the lead down to 11 with just under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Ward. Jump ball is going to be the call, and it's going to be St. Louis possession when we return. Absolutely. Thanks, Kevin and Tom. Yeah, he's absolutely right, Coach. I mean, 10 points for VCU off of 7 St. Louis turnovers. They're leading the rebounding battle 20-12. And as he was talking about, 8 offensive rebounds so far in this first half.
VCU's winning the effort categories, forcing turnovers, getting second chance points. They've also had some unlikely people make some threes. There's another turnover. Djokovic, Evans, Bell have all made a 3. None of them average more than 1 3 per game. But the physicality around the rim is also bothering St. Louis. St. Louis is getting shots at the rim, but not finishing against the physicality.
And it's going to be St. Louis ball here. VCU raced out to an 11-0 start tonight, and then St. Louis hasn't gotten closer than 9 points since that time. I mean, it's been all Rams from the opening tip.
So since the officiating rule changed with regarding taking charges and coaches started teaching going up legally, vertically with your chest at the rim, the physicality and difficulty of finishing has become much more difficult for teams, and VCU doing a great job of being vertical.
Here's McCautry for three, short. Quentin Jones got the offensive rebound. Dumps it inside for Thames.
That's the second layup that St. Louis has gotten off of a fortuitous bounce. Now they need to turn that luck into consistent execution and effort.
Jennings over to Hill. Guarded by McCautry. Into the post, Djokovic. Double team comes down. Blocked Avila. Out of bounds. It'll stay with VCU with 9 to shoot. Dunlap and Otieno are back in for St. Louis. Avila and McCautry head to the bench. 2 points for Avila, 2 rebounds and assist. He's 1 for 1 from the field. And St. Louis is challenging the last play here, and they're going to take a look at it. Welcome back, 37-28 VCU. St. Louis challenged the last out-of-bounds play here in favor of the Rams, so let's take a look at it, John. Well, Avila kind of knocks it out.
Yeah, it
right?
doesn't look conclusive to me.
Yeah. The ruling on the court was VCU ball.
Yeah, I would think that's still VCU ball because Avila knocks it out, and it doesn't look like Djokovic touches it after Avila knocks it out of his hands. You might be splitting hairs here, like did it literally go off? Well, maybe his left hand there, maybe, but it doesn't look conclusive to me. Yeah. Yeah. They're overturning it. They said that the left hand did make contact. So, again, Mike, you and I like to talk with the officials before the game. The thing they all agreed with, the toughest call they have to make in basketball are these out-of-bounds calls. So they said the left hand, boom, right now. Oh, yeah. You know what? You do see his index finger get caught under the ball. Yes. There. Wow.
Really good job by our crew here tonight. Brian O'Connell, Matt Potter, and Kip Kissinger. And I thought it was a great challenge for St. Louis, right? Because, Johnny, got the use it or lose it timeout, right? Here in the first half. Had they not gotten the challenge correct, okay, they'd have 3 timeouts remaining. Although you do lose your challenge for the rest of the game. I should say that. That's actually very important. So on a very 50-50 ball there, they must have felt pretty good about it to go, hey, let's challenge this, right?
That's exactly what happened. And every staff now has a pad on the bench to look at that replay, but boy, they got to make quick decisions.
Yes. Djokovic here for VCU, spinning, no, rebound Brown. Billikens running with Thames. Dunlap, extra pass, Sharma, that's a 3, it's good. It's the closest St. Louis has been since 18:22 on the clock in this first half. Kicked ball. It's going over to St. Louis.
And that's why you run, to get shots before the defense is matched and set.
7-0 run, Billikens. 3 turnovers over the last 3.5 minutes for the Rams.
Now, it'll be harder for Sharman Dunlap to get an open look now that people are attached, and you see the chasing.
Well, he tries. He puts up the 3 anyhow. It doesn't go, and it's still in, rebounded by Jennings. Djokovic for 3. That one's going to hurt. As the Billikens are making this run, John, it's back up to 9.
And the players you wouldn't expect now, capable shooters, but not high-volume shooters, now have made half of VCU's threes.
Sharma going down, and then he got tied up here with Jennings. And the possession arrow favors VCU. Let's hope Sharma's okay.
Yeah, if you would tell someone that VCU's got 8 threes in the first half, but half of them came from Evans, Djokovic, and Bell, I don't believe that would have happened this year. But I love the lack of hesitation, the confidence, and that looks good. And Djokovic shoots free throws well, too, so the stroke and the touch is there. He's worked at it and developed it. 4 threes all of last year, 18 already this year.
Yeah, you mentioned the names, John. We'll think about it. 7 different players have hit a 3. Djokovic has 2 himself so far in this first half for VCU. We got 50 seconds remaining. Rams have it with a 9-point lead. Another jumper by Hill doesn't go. Rebound by Thames. Thames coast to coast. Timeout, St. Louis. This game is so big here tonight. Number 1 versus number 2 in the Atlantic 10. You see Joe Lenardi's bracketology. VCU right now is in that first 4 out category. Boy, with a win tonight, boy, that could really vault them, and they'd be in great shape there. St. Louis, an 8 seed. They've been hovering around a 7. They had lost the other night at Rhode Island. First conference loss of the season. John, so much basketball still left to be played. Both teams playing really, really well right now, and VCU knows what's at stake if they can get this win here on the road.
I mean, VCU 10 in a row. St. Louis 18 of the night. Last 19 they've won. So these are terrific teams. And whoever loses this game will still be in the NCAA picture, but clearly the winner will be in much better position.
Rams ball, 20 seconds to go first half, 17 on the shot clock. Jennings, checked by Dion Brown. Brown not giving an inch. Djokovic, still 5 to shoot. Kicks it back out. Hill from way outside. No. Tapped around. Who wants it? Jennings throws it up, and he's fouled with .1 on the clock.
So that play has nothing to do with any X's and O's or drills or skill development. That is all heart. I love the Muhammad Ali line that the skill must be great, but the will must be greater than the skill. Jennings just fought for this. Got the shot by your best shooter, Hill. But then that is just a Herculean effort by Jennings in that scrum to come up with the ball. And then the wherewithal to throw it up towards the rim amidst all that contact. That was a major play.
It's a really good point, John. They're going to take a look at the clock here. They're going to add some time to the clock. .8 is on the clock. So 2 free throws for Jennings. He was fouled by Otieno for St. Louis, who picks up his second. It's an 8-point lead. Rams have led by as many as 14. That was at the 9:58 mark of this first half, 24-10. Jennings cans them both. The lead is 9, .8 remaining. Thames gets it in. Heave-ho from Jones. And that's the end of the first half. What do you say here? 9-point lead for the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams have made threes. They're the better defensive team. They're the better rebounding team. St. Louis needs to regroup.
You see some of the numbers here in the first half summary. The other thing is that VCU has had 7 different players knock down a 3 in this game. 8 of 15 as you see the total. And St. Louis trailing at the half for just the 5th time in 27 games this season. Second half underway. Billikens have it here to start.
A lot of basketball left. 2 outstanding teams. And the Billikens throughout this season have shown the ability to go on massive runs. In fact, in every A-10 game outside of their loss to Rhode Island, they've gone on at least a 10-0 run against LaSalle. LaSalle had them down to an 8-point lead late, and then St. Louis explodes for a 28-6 run. So St. Louis at any point can get it going.
Tie up and a jump here between Brown and Tracy. And it's going over to VCU. And it's just to your point, John. Do they want it more here tonight? That's the question.
Well, I think both teams want it badly, but VCU's physicality and quickness is certainly giving them advantages. It's creating turnovers. They're finishing better at the rim. They're rebounding the ball better. And the sneaky thing, their transition defense has been good.
Both teams have 11 turnovers in this game. Ball goes inside to Djokovic. Fouled. It's on McCoughtry. And that's his first.
There's no one better in the A-10 at getting fouled than Lazar Djokovic. He has attempted more free throws and made more free throws than anyone in the A-10 for the team that's made the most free throws in the A-10. VCU nationally number 7 in free throws made per game, and St. Louis doesn't have a good matchup for Djokovic. He's a little too athletic and has that ability to draw fouls where they don't want Avila on him. And McCoughtry is a wonderful defender, but at 6'6", Djokovic 6'11". Hey, Coach Martelli wisely went to the mismatch, and Djokovic took advantage.
Djokovic with 13 points, which leads all scorers here in this game tonight, and McCoughtry comes back for the 2.
And it's interesting, Djokovic the center, McCoughtry a wing, but they're guarding each other. So McCoughtry evens the scales at 2-2 here early in this second half, driving by the bigger guy.
Tracy, almost, but he got fouled. And he was looking for a Sports Center highlight on that play for sure. Jadrian Tracy, look out.
Terrific job of showing the ball, little bit of a shot fake. Watch, just raise the ball up a little bit. And he has a little jab in there too, shiftiness. And that, I'll tell you what, they might look at that as a potential flagrant because there was contact to the head. You know, as a coach, you gotta wonder, do I appeal that? Is that worth potentially losing a timeout? With Coach Martelli here with the lead, he's choosing not to.
That's a good point, John. Yeah, he did get whacked in the head there by Jones. Jones picked up his second personal foul. They did not make any motion for that. And they're going to let Tracy fire these free throws up. And you see it again in terms of what they've done at the line this season. 45-35 now. They're 9 for 11 tonight.
Free throws are efficient. They're more efficient than field goals.
Djokovic called for the foul here on McCoughtry, and that matchup now starting to heat up a little bit between those two.
Both teams going to the matchup. VCU knows Djokovic has the advantage inside. St. Louis knows McCoughtry has a quickness advantage off the dribble, and I love how Coach Schertz positions him in the middle of the floor, so you really don't have weak side help coming.
One more coming up for McCoughtry Saturday before the Rockets and Knicks at 8:30 Eastern. We've got Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq. We'll tip off our coverage at 8 o'clock inside the NBA. Coming up tomorrow on ABC, on the ESPN app. Houston and New York, currently 2 of the NBA's top 6 teams based on winning percentage. All that and more coming up tomorrow on ABC. Billikens at the free throw line tonight, 4 of 7. Evans. Tapped around. Finally, Deion Brown's got it for St. Louis. Here's Green.
VCU backstops the break.
Avila for 3. No. Rebound Lewis. Green went down. VCU running, and Tracy can't finish. The tip there from Lewis doesn't go. Advantage here, St. Louis for the moment. Brown kicks it. 3-ball Jones. Got it.
That is fun basketball. Transition, back and forth, athletes, unselfish, pass for the 3.
7-point game. Evans trying to counter for VCU. Cannot. Green has it. That's the thing. VCU has always seemed to come back, and any time that St. Louis has been trying to make a run to get back in it here tonight. Green for 3. Yes. It's the first time that St. Louis has been this close since the first minute of the game. Green for 3. It's a 4-point game.
Regardless of what team you're talking about, everyone shoots better percentages off of fast breaks because of mismatches, number advantages. Very hard to score against a good 5-on-5 defense. Both these teams will keep running.
Hang on tight, everyone. It's a 4-point game, and McCoughtry gets an interception here for St. Louis. McCoughtry blocked by Djokovic, but all the way out to Green. Pelicans have cut 9 points off a 13-point hole over the last 7.5 minutes. They have still yet to lead in this game tonight. McCoughtry, that's a wild runner, but he got it back. Up again, no, and rebounded by Tracy for VCU. Jadrian Tracy, a little out of control. It's tapped around. Out of bounds to St. Louis. And Jennings emphatically says, no, we want to review that, and we'll see if his coaching staff agrees. George Martelli is waiting for the signal. And there is a stoppage. Do they ask for a challenge here? Let's see. Yep. Ryan O'Connell, Matt Potter, Kip Kissinger, they're heading over to the monitor. So let's take a look at it, John. What do we got here?
That one's obviously off a slew. Yeah, that was...
It's off of Jones.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, that's VCU ball.
And he actually kind of grabbed the player, too, as well.
On top of it, it was a foul on Jones.
Right.
Yeah, right there. Jones is the last one to touch it. And he fouls Jennings as Jennings is trying to go for the ball. So, yeah, this will definitely be a challenge that should be successful for VCU.
So St. Louis had challenged a play earlier, which they got right, so they kept their timeout. They got one challenge left for the rest of the game. We feel that VCU is going to win this challenge, so that would allow them to have one more challenge left for the rest of the game as well.
How important is the coach with the tablet on the bench?
Very important. I was just talking to him today. Like, yeah. And, you know, we've seen some challenges early in first halves this year, and there's those percentages and all that kind of stuff, John. But, you know, to me, I'd love to save my, you know, timeouts and challenges for the second half. I mean, and that one was kind of an obvious one. So they keep their timeout. They have one challenge left for the rest of the game. VCU ball, leading by 4.
Yeah, and we keep talking about the energy of VCU, the shooting of VCU, and here we are. It's a 2-possession game.
Right. Well, VCU is 0 for 4 from the field in the second half.
And remember, the Billikens have the best defensive field goal percentage in America. This has been an elite defensive team.
Jennings, a step back 3 doesn't go. Djokovic almost had it. Barry Evans comes up with it for the Rams. Crowd wanted a foul. Over to Hill. Nifty dribbling back to Djokovic. Heavy defense by McCoughtry. Djokovic. Wild runner goes down.
What a one-on-one battle, and what a tough shot. Nothing wrong with McCoughtry's defense on that play.
Jones to McCoughtry. Hands off here for Dion Brown. Goes back to McCoughtry inside. And a foul on VCU. And it takes us to a timeout.
With people who love the A-10 getting ready for this A-10 showdown.
And it has been just that. As McCoughtry comes back for 2 for the Billikens, and we are back to a 4-point game here.
And the fake handoff works. The handoff doubles as a screen. Djokovic starts to help. While he's helping, he tucks it and goes.
Evans on the kick out, and a 3-ball in the corners out off by Bell. Evans had a hand on it, and it's out of bounds off of St. Louis.
Yeah, the inability of St. Louis to get some of these clean defensive rebounds is giving VCU these dead ball extra possessions. So even when VCU doesn't get it, the fact that they're crashing, not letting St. Louis get it, is giving them extra opportunities. Effort is never lost.
Foul, and count a basket as Jennings scores it for the Rams.
That was not only an explosive play by Jennings, who is a phenomenal athlete, unbelievable in all his strength and conditioning tests, but he saw McCoughtry on the low side. There's McCoughtry on the low side. That means he knows if he drives middle, there's not an extra body there.
Fouls on Dion Brown, his second. Avila on the drive. Not there, and rebounded by Bell. Djokovic. Tough runner, and he got through like a double team that time, John. Still converts.
I mean, Djokovic has 17, and both teams are getting the ball to the rim. Djokovic is finishing. St. Louis and Avila not finishing as much. Sometimes both coaches talked a lot about physicality. VCU, the more physical team, finishing through contact.
VCU started this half 0 for 4. Sharma, he's fouled. Now the Rams are 3 of 9 shooting from the field as they have the lead by 8. And Ishan Sharma is going to head to the line for 2.
So when these coaches were talking about physicality, they know both teams will have bodies at the rim. And there's 2 defenders that Djokovic just goes through. He doesn't avoid the contact. He doesn't, make an awkward shot. He just powers through. But here's what I think is fascinating. So Hill, the leading scorer for VCU, has 2 points, 0 for 6 from the field. Avila, the leading scorer for St. Louis, has 2 points. Yep. These are 2 of the deepest teams in America. VCU number 4 in bench points, almost 36 points a game. St. Louis, almost it's 34 and a half, number 8 in America. 2 of the deepest teams in America. You don't know who's going to have a big night. They don't rely on any one player. That makes them hard to prepare for. And they play with so much energy because you're talking about fresh bodies. No one averages over 28 minutes a game for either of these teams. That's amazing.
That's some great numbers right there, John. You're absolutely right. Here's Haley, gets it into Djokovic, and he's blocked from behind, and a foul's going to be called. McCoughtry got him on the arm, says Kip Kissinger, and we'll see on the replay. McCoughtry, who's been battling inside with Djokovic all night.
And we've talked about Hill's scoring, but his assist giving is equally as good. It looks like he might have got the ball. He got both, but usually if you get the ball before the arm, you end up with a cleaner block and not always going to the line.
It's been all Djokovic here tonight for VCU in terms of the points. He's got 18, he's 6 of 10 from the field. The rest of the team's got 34 total points and 11 of 32 shooting from the field. And the Rams continuing to keep St. Louis at bay here, 53-44. Remember, the Rams have won 10 in a row. It's going to be huge for their tournament resume. I think we're looking at 2 NCAA tournament teams here tonight. Just what we're seeing, John. I know, remember the eye test? That was always a big thing, right, for the tournament committee. I think it still should be. I don't want to play either of these 2 teams in March. Wonder if you agree with me on that one.
Well, they're so deep and so athletic, and their metrics are good. Strength of schedule is good.
Otieno for the basket.
Yeah, where VCU, so St. Louis's strength of schedule not as good. VCU's strength of schedule is good. They just need a quad 1 win, and this would give them one.
They're hovering in that first 4-out category right now, according to our Joe Lenardi. A win here tonight would hugely help that. And that also put them in first place in the Atlantic 10. Lewis, little push off, throws it up, no. Fight for his own rebound, he's got it, and gets it back to Hill. And he's fouled, and Terrence Hill is going to go to the line as the foul is called on Green.
So it's not like St. Louis isn't playing hard, because they are, and they have all year. But the physicality of VCU is just better. Lewis, one of the best rebounding guards in the A-10 as a freshman, 4-time Rookie of the Week. Last week, he had 11 points and 11 rebounds against LaSalle. You don't see many 6'1" guards with double-digit rebounding games.
13 offensive rebounds for VCU in this game, 7 for St. Louis. We talked about the first 4 out. Along with VCU, you see TCU, San Diego State, New Mexico. All 3 play tomorrow. TCU is against West Virginia, San Diego State at Colorado, and New Mexico at Fresno State. So obviously you cheer for teams, you've beaten, of course, throughout the year, John, teams that you're fighting with, but I think this could be huge for the Rams if they come up with this win here. They would be a half a game up on St. Louis for first place in the A-10 with a win.
Keep an eye on South Florida and Virginia Tech. Both of those teams have been beaten by VCU, and South Florida 56 net, number 1 in the American Conference. Virginia Tech 55 in the net. If they rise above 50, and there you see Sharma, a terrific shooter with the answer. But if they rise above 50, all of a sudden VCU has 2 quad 1 wins. That would be massive. They got to be huge fans of South Florida and Virginia Tech.
Got to take care of business though here tonight. Their lead is 6 as Sharma has hit his second 3 in as many attempts here tonight for the Billikens. The foul was on Kellen Thames for St. Louis, his first. And that has now pushed St. Louis to 6 team fouls, 1 more, and VCU will be shooting at the line. We still have 12:44 to go in this second half.
Remember, the one thing that St. Louis has not done well this year, their opponents have made more free throws than anyone in the league, and VCU is great against the line.
That's right. It's going to be a problem if they keep fouling. Here's Lewis, no, and falling down on him was Evans as he tried to get the rebound. It's a scary situation underneath, though. Lewis and Evans, they're both back up. A foul on the Billikens, and there is the 17th foul now.
Lewis is a beast. I mean, this guy is just attacking the ball like with linebacker force.
Otieno with his 3rd personal foul, and Evans will have 1 more here. St. Louis had their 18-game winning streak snapped on Tuesday night at Rhode Island. Rams coming up with a win there. But they are 24-2 on the season. They are currently on a 19-game home court winning streak, the longest in Chaifetz Arena history, and that is on the line here tonight as well.
And St. Louis's excellence is what would make this so impactful for a VCU win.
Sharma, nowhere to go. He was trying to get back to Thames. He finally does. Still plenty of time to shoot. Thames, mid-range, got it.
Thames at 6'6" has the best field goal percentage in the A-10. Brown at 6'3", Thames at 6'6", elite finishers. Avila at 6'10", elite shooter and passer. They are a different type of roster.
Hill for way outside. It doesn't go. There's going to be a foul on VCU. And it's going to be St. Louis ball when we come back. Sold out. Chaifetz Arena squads, the only 2 teams ranked in the top 5 on all 4 events in the nation. Coming up right after us tonight, number 1 Oklahoma, number 2 LSU in gymnastics.
And A-10 tie there. Leah Miller, daughter of Archie Miller, is a team member on that ranked LSU team.
There you go.
And with the Winter Olympics, I'm already looking forward to the Summer Olympics. Always love gymnastics.
Oh, what a move by Thames here for St. Louis.
I mean, Thames makes 67% of his shots at 6'7". Again, a stat usually reserved for big men. He's a spectacular athlete. One possession game.
Yeah, well, it's the closest. Closest they've been this half, though. 4 points. Djokovic got it knocked out of his hands by Otieno. Here's Thames. Fouled on his way in.
So we talk about will in this game because this is a battle. And in transition, Thames just wills himself to that rim. I mean, excellent defense by Otieno, and now he is not going to be denied access to that rim. And before that, Thames, I mean, spectacular shot maker, just a great athlete, who is the best in the A-10 at finishing. 67% field goal percentage.
Foul was on Jennings. Second for him for VCU. The other night for VCU, they had an 89-75 home win over George Washington. They outscored them by 12 in the second half after giving up a big run and were trailing in that game. Now here tonight, they have to try to hold on as they had a 14-point lead at one point. And possibly it'll be down to 2 here, pending this free throw.
40 minutes is a long time. You don't know what's going to happen. And Thames, by the way, was great in the first matchup between these teams with 17 points and 10 rebounds. When there's all these great athletes out there and Thames is the best athlete, that says a lot.
St. Louis won that first matchup January 7th at VCU, 71-62. Rams trying to return the favor here tonight. Djokovic got it knocked away. Thames again. He's all over the place. Lewis can't get the shot to go. Otieno's on the deck. Did he get a timeout? He did. Friday night in the A-10. We love it. 1-point game here. VCU and St. Louis. Mike Corey, Dr. John Giannini with you. 7 straight points by Kellen Thames for the Billikens, John.
And it's his defense and his extreme athleticism. And then his unusual ability to make 67% of his shots. He gets the ball to the rim. He's a special athlete. He's a one-man wrecking crew right now with these 7 straight points, taking the game over through defense and relentless attacking of the rim.
Seven-0 run here for St. Louis over 1 minute and 29 seconds. They've hit 5 of their last 5 from the field. VCU is 0 for their last 5.
And let's see if they can stretch this run to 10-0, because every game that St. Louis has had at least a 10-0 run this year, they've won. The only A-10 game they didn't put together at least a 10-0 run was the recent loss to Rhode Island. So this team has a unique ability to go on scoring spurts and runs.
That's a really good point, John. They led for only 1 minute and 53 seconds at Rhode Island on Tuesday. They have not led here tonight, and there was a foul on VCU.
You know, there was contact early on in the drive.
Yeah, because our monitor's saying that now they changed it. They called the foul on Djokovic.
Yeah, that's what I thought the foul was on Djokovic.
It's a second. Tough sequence there for a VCU fan. Looked like he might have just knocked it away, but in any event, it's McCoughtry at the line. And this game is tied. We remain tied. Billikens still have not led yet in this one. Barry Evans over to Jennings. Working on Sharma. Nice spin move. Sharma still there. Jennings scores it anyhow. What a play.
VCU's just looking for certain matchups right now, and they love Jennings and Djokovic.
Jennings has 11. McCoughtry. Do they count that? They do. We're tied at 59 and a chance for the Billikens to take the lead.
This game is becoming very matchup driven. McCoughtry is purposefully being given space to drive on Djokovic. On the other end, it's Djokovic on McCautry. Keep watching that. And it's also Jennings. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more action being given to Thames, given his impact on this game.
Djokovic picks up his third personal foul. He's the leading scorer in this game with 19, and still St. Louis.
Yeah, McCautry now 4 free throw misses.
Djokovic for 3. Rebound Dunlap. Avila. Driving. Scoring, and the Billikens have their first lead tonight. Jennings on the miss. There's a foul on St. Louis underneath.
Now that shot I didn't love by Jennings because VCU is in the bonus. They've had so much success going to the basket. I love open threes, but threes off the dribble for VCU right now probably aren't necessary unless it's Hill, who's exceptional at it.
This is the front half of the 1-and-1 here. VCU 15 of 19 at the line tonight. St. Louis working on 7 in a row from the field. Dunlap, that's no good. And rebounded by VCU and Michael Bell. Bell. And that's a travel.
So in these more half-court possessions, Avila could be more involved. And where Avila's at his best is simple pick and pop at the top of the key, where if his man helps it all, now he's free to shoot the 3 or drive with an angle to the basket. In the half court, I like Robbie Avila. It's been good for St. Louis ever since he's been on campus.
Billikens are on a 12-2 run over the last 3.5 minutes to take this 2-point lead. They're down by as many as 14 tonight. Sharma for 3, it's good! And a steal by Fades. What a turnaround by the Billikens, a 17-2 run. This place is going berserk. Yeah, that's right, guys. Miami, number 22 in the poll. See if they can stay undefeated. That's a fun story this year in college basketball. How about this here tonight, John? And St. Louis now leads by 7.
Well, St. Louis is number 6 in the country and made threes per game. Avila gets Sharma open off of a handoff. He's done that all year. And then another thing, the athleticism of Thames, that's been constant all year, as well as St. Louis's ability to go on massive runs.
Hill clangs the 3. They're 0 for 8 now from three-point range in the second half after they were out of control in the first half, going 8 of 15. Avila goes the other way and hits a 3. It's a 20-2 run. Djokovic for 3. That doesn't go off the side of the backboard. Dunlap's got it. Now they have just flipped the tables here tonight.
Well, it's regression to the mean. St. Louis is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. Keep executing, and they should fall.
Dunlap misses. Thames on the follow. He is fouled.
No center in America makes more threes per game than Robbie Avila. It's 6'10". He has the skills of a guard in terms of shooting and passing.
Thames will have another coming up on Sunday morning on ESPN, ESPN app. We got the Women's College Game Day crew going to be in Columbia, South Carolina. And you're set up for a great day of women's college basketball. Ole Miss in South Carolina. Then later on, number 3, or that's South Carolina. Then number 11, Oklahoma hosting Tennessee. And we're capping it off with TCU and Iowa State, all coming your way Sunday on ESPN.
St. Louis showing why they're the best in the country at defensive field goal percentage. And again, regression to the mean. The guys who made threes in the first half, not doing so in the second half for VCU.
I feel like they're kind of settling a little bit, though, here. Early shots of the possession, Coach.
Well, in the case of Bell and Djokovic, VCU has played the odds. I'm sorry, St. Louis has played the odds. Yeah. They have said, we're not believing that Bell and Djokovic can beat us on threes. They made some early, but we're not betting that that's the way VCU wants to win. And that consistent approach is part of this St. Louis run.
I remember you talking about this before, about percentages. You know, sometimes you're on fire, you're shooting 70%. You're like, I never liked the 70 because I knew a 30 was coming, because it always kind of evens out. It's almost like that's what happened with VCU. They had 7 different guys hit a 3. They hit 8 of them in the first half. They got 0 for 10 here in the second frame.
Regression to the mean is a mathematical fact. It's, if you flip a coin, you might get 6 tails in a row. But if you flip it 100, it's going to be 49 to 51.
Yep,
so over time, you play the odds. And you let a guy like Sharma keep working for him to get shots. Let Avila shoot, because those guys are proven shooters. If someone makes less than 1 3 a game, I don't mind helping off of them.
It's bearing out the way you're saying it. VCU started 12 of 24 from the field. They're 6 of 29 since. Still plenty of time here, though. 6.5 remaining. It's a 9-point game. Here's Hill. Feeds to Cutter Tracy. Nice play. And they get the bucket to cut it to 7.
That's beautiful. That's the second time VCU has done that. Their rule is when someone drives baseline, the opposite wing makes a 45-degree cut, and it punishes your defensive rotation.
Tracy's got 7. Top scorer is Djokovic with 19, 13 for Jennings. Here's Avila. Throwing himself at the hoop, and he puts it in. How did he do that? And the foul.
Now that this game is settling down into a little bit more of a half-court pace, that's where Robbie Avila can really have an impact. Right here you see Evans trying to be disruptive, which he should be, but when he doesn't get the steal and Avila has an angle to the basket, he makes a physical finish.
It's a great point, John. He lets the game come to him, right? It wasn't lending itself to be in his game because of the up and down nature, as you said earlier. Now all of a sudden you look up at the board and he's got 10 points, which is 2 behind his average. And that's why this team is so dangerous.
And it's why his leadership is so important. He gives this team poise, and because he has sacrificed minutes this year on a deeper, more talented team, his teammates are willing to sacrifice.
We're under 6 minutes to go. The lead for St. Louis is 10. Spin. Here's Evans. Got run into and fouled. Now this is where they can get it back, right? Get to the foul line. They did that a lot earlier in this game. They're 17 of 21 at the stripe.
Listen, there's a lot of time left, and games go in runs and ebbs and flows. VCU had their run. Now St. Louis has made theirs. Let's see if VCU has one more left in them.
Well, and here's foul trouble situation creeping up now for St. Louis. McContry's got 4, and Otieno has 4. Now, I know they're deep, but you don't want to lose all these guys. There's still a lot of time left. Got to clamp down defensively if you're VCU. St. Louis is shooting 63% in the second half, 5 of 9 from 3. Jones, no. Otieno, no. And a foul.
That play is so hard to guard. Everyone runs them now. It's called a Spanish pick and roll. It's a normal pick and roll, but a guard at the free throw line sets a back screen for your big guy rolling. That makes it hard for his man to help.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah,
boy, that's not pleasant.
Hit in the face there.
Yeah, with a shoe. That you don't see that often.
All right, so Djokovic and Nick Lewis are back in. Tracy and Bell head to the bench of VCU. Foul was on Tracy. He's got 3 for the Rams.
Another secret thing on Otiano, 74% from the line. Usually big, strong guys like that are not super soft with touch, but he is.
Yeah, he's been good. Jennings works his way in, runner no. And Sharma's got it for St. Louis. On the run. Jones, yes.
First time this game, Otiano and Avila are in together.
Hill, what a runner for Terrence Hill Jr.
Yeah, Hill, the best scorer off the bench in America. But this Avila-Otiano combination, what St. Louis is hoping in that is that it helps their defensive rebounding here late in the game. Playing the 2 centers together.
This is for first place in the Atlantic 10 here tonight as Avila goes underneath. And a block by Jennings. Put back in play by Brown. Back to Avila. 3-ball. Got it! Rams to Evans. Bump by Avila. Changes hands in midair. The shot doesn't go. And a fight for it, and Otiano's got it.
And that's why they're playing the 2 big guys. They know VCU has hurt him on the glass. With Otiano and Avila, that should boost their defensive rebounding.
Avila has scored almost 1,900 points over his 4 seasons. He ranks 7th among all active Division I players right now. And he's 2 threes away from 200. Which would be incredible as a center. Here's Sharma, no. Otiano, the rebound, out to Avila. Corner Sharma, 3-ball. And this is the St. Louis team that we've been watching all season long, John. They've opened it up to a 16-point lead.
With the motor and with incredible athleticism. What a combination. And this is the 2nd game in a row now against VCU where he has taken control on a court full of great athletes.
Well, speaking of incredible, the attendance here tonight, 10,223, 3rd straight sellout this season and the 20th sellout all time here in Chaifetz Arena. Foul here on the Billikens. It's on Quentin Jones, his 3rd. Jennings at the line for 2. And we are just getting your weekend started here tonight. How about tomorrow? Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 all going up against each other. This has never happened this late in the season. It's only happened 4 times before, 2 way back in the fall, 2 at the Final Four. And you've got even these great games as well after those 2, Kentucky and Auburn, Iowa State, BYU. It's all coming your way tomorrow, Saturday on ESPN. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, they say Christmas in July, you do something special. This is like a Final Four in February.
That's right. Oh, nice pass from Avila to the cunning Jones, who couldn't finish it though. Otiano gets the offensive rebound. Back out to Sharma. Look out. Misses on the 3, tapped around. Evans has it.
The big lineup has really helped St. Louis with rebounding.
Djokovic for 3. And the Rams have gone cold. 0 for 11 now from 3-point range. What was going so well in the first half is completely the opposite here in the second half. As you see it, they were up by 14 in the first half. They're down by 14 now here in the second frame.
Well, remember, they're going up against the best 3-point defense in the country, too, so that certainly has something to do with it.
Where can this St. Louis team go? If they hang on, they go to 25-2. Let's go back to the 2013-14 season. John, that team started 25-2, but they lost 5 of their last 7. Fans are hoping this will be different this year for this Billiken team, the way they're playing.
Trust me, these people aren't thinking about 12 years ago.
No.
At least the players and coaches are. Maybe some of the fans still have a memory.
It's been their best season since then. Rebound, Lewis, foul. Yeah, this is their best start since that 2013-14 team. The national ranking of 18 now is the best since that team was ranked as high as 10. And a lot of excitement here in St. Louis.
The leaders in the country in defensive field goal percentage. That all adds up to beat your opponents by an average of 22 a game. That's the #1 scoring margin in America. So, yeah, they got knocked off on the road at Rhode Island. Everyone since Indiana 76 has gotten knocked off at some time. Like Coach Shirt says, it's all about how you respond. And they were down in the first half, obviously. VCU played terrifically, but the second half response has been emphatic. And I like what Coach Shirt said. Our good shooting covered up some of our shortcomings. We reached a plateau. Maybe we needed some adversity to get to the next level.
Otieno had fouled out, as you saw, for St. Louis, but in command here with 2 minutes to go as Jones goes right down the lane, coast to coast, and scores it. Sean, what you gotta like is this team does what got them to this point, right? You don't see them slowing it down here and trying to run clock. They're up by 16.
Well, they will at some point, but not when they see an opening to the rim. So watching Nick Lewis, you're watching a highly probable A-10 Rookie of the Year and a potential future star in the A-10. We talked about will in this game, and this has been a battle. This has not been a pretty game. This has been rebounding, diving on the floor, defense, sprinting. Lewis's motor has the level it takes to become a special player. This guy is strong, he's tough, he's confident, he's going to have a great career.
Gonzaga High School out of Washington, D.C., the freshman. He started all 27 games that he's played in this season, 27 of the 28. Almost 9 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. He's been battling here tonight. And if St. Louis wins this, they'll have sole possession of first place. They're going to go to 13-1. VCU would drop to 12-3. And that was kind of the message that Coach Church was telling his team yesterday. John, you and I were there at the film session where he said, hey, you get this win, get a little bit of a cushion, we get first place. We don't. Now we're battling nip and tuck here, you know, the rest of the way. And this is a big separation. A 3-game swing, as he said it. Yeah. He's absolutely right. Because then they own the season series as they won earlier at VCU in early January. Lewis for 3, doesn't go. Rebound, St. Louis. Outlet ahead to Jones. Exclamation point on this one. (53-27) in the second half. St. Louis. When this one's done, we will get you to #1 versus #2 in gymnastics from Norman, Oklahoma, LSU in Oklahoma. That's airing right now on ESPN News. Stay tuned for that. 40 seconds to go as McCautry gets the 2.
As impressive as St. Louis is, and they are looking like the dominant team that they've been up until getting knocked off at Rhode Island. But listen, VCU is not going anywhere. They will be in contention for the A-10 championship in terms of the conference tournament for sure.
Jennings for 3, but St. Louis is going to run this one out to victory. Big thanks to our producer, Kevin Clark, our director, Tyler Honeycutt, with Andrew Aarons, Matt Siegel, and Terry Black with stats. Our great crew here tonight from St. Louis. And St. Louis is going to win it. Whoa, right into us. It was Lewis, and now a little bit of activity going at the end of this. And you just don't want to see this happen.
No, whoa.
As they're trying to separate everyone here. what you need in this highly contested game here this late at all. And they're trying to get everybody back to their respective benches. What a crazy sequence here at the end. And we have 1.1 seconds left in the clock. Are you all right, John?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. And you see it there for VCU.
Well,
it was a push.
Well, listen, they were talking before that while it was at half court.
With Lewis, who went right into our setup here.
Mike, they were talking trash to each other while the ball was live. So that collision was just the final thing needed to ignite those emotions. But here's the thing. You can't do anything that might hurt your team moving forward in terms of suspensions.
Yeah, I mean, look at Josh Schertz racing onto the court saying, you've got to be kidding me, guys. Like,
and there's Coach Martelli. Any coach would do that. Like, you just don't want to see this. It's bad all the way around. There is nothing good about it.
Well, and now they're obviously going to go to the monitor here to see what they can determine out of that whole entire mess here at the end.
So here's the problem. The coaching staff and support staff can come out to break up a fight, but players can't. So every player who left the bench who wasn't in the game should be ejected. And that's a lot of people. It's really a shame. An end to a great game, and this is really going to complicate things for the officials.
I mean, it looks like there's Avila right there.
Well, that was a common foul. Then it was Evans.
And then Barry Evans kind of pushed the St. Louis player there.
Avila kind of gave a basketball bump. It wasn't he kind of bumped someone out of bounds, but then Evans retaliated. Then it looks like Jones retaliated. And now, unfortunately, you have players coming off the bench, and that is a gigantic problem in terms of ejections and the fact that players on the bench cannot leave.
And I get it. I get the rule, John. I understand, but it's like a natural reaction.
No, you can't do it.
I know you can't
do it.
I know.
You can't do it.
But you want to protect
your
guys.
No, you can't do it because, I mean, it could lead to one of the ugliest scenes possible with just 25 people brawling at the middle of the court. That's why you don't let people leave.
Totally understand. It's just going to put a damper on what was a hard-fought, really well-played game with both teams and first place on the line in the conference. And you just don't need to see anything like this, especially with the way each team is competing in the seasons that they are having. It's uncharacteristic, really, by both squads.
And I don't like even what some of the players are still doing. They're still talking to each other. Like, the coaches need to nip this in the bud right now. I don't like it.
Get your team back. Why is anybody even on the court?
Not just get them back, get them to be quiet. I mean, both sides are taunting each other.
Yeah, this is a real tough job here for Brian O'Connell, Matt Potter, and Kip Kissinger, who have called a really good game tonight, our officials. And now you got O'Connell talking to Schertz and Zach Bovair for St. Louis. You got Potter and Kissinger over there with Martelli and his staff.
In some ways, we're very fortunate because there weren't injuries and because punches weren't thrown or landed. So with the amount of emotional people that were in close confines, we ended up, I think, with a fortunate outcome.
All right, so it's a dead ball, and then you see Lewis kind of knock it away. So he kind of...
No, it's very simple. Avila had a common foul. Evans retaliates with a shove. Then Jones retaliates, and then everyone else jumps in.
And we're going to wait to get the official explanation here from Brian O'Connell and the rest of this crew. But...
And there goes the ejected players. That's, of course, why they're going into the tunnel.
All right, so all the players that did come onto the court, as you said, but now all of a sudden looks like they're coming back. So I'm not quite sure what. And they're going to come over and tell us in just a moment. 1.1 seconds left. Tough finish here. St. Louis is going to win it, obviously. They lead by 16. Going to go to 25-2 on the season. They're going to continue their win streak here at home. VCU led by 14 in the first half, 9 at halftime. But then just the tables got turned. They shot just 22% in the second half. 7 of 31, 1 for 14 from three-point range, and it was all St. Louis in the second frame. Shot 58%. All right, so here we go. We'll be right with you, folks.
Original foul right here was on Robbie. On the side, number one's going to shoot 3 shots. Then we got 2 players that basically play control. Push the shot. Everybody else came off the bench.
All right, so the first order of business was a foul on Robbie Avila, and then you had 2 players called for a flagrant 2. So I just said, John, you had Robbie Avila with the regular foul.
Yeah,
2 players got a flagrant 2, so they were ejected. Both benches cleared. All those players have to leave. It's going to be 5-on-4. It doesn't really matter for 1.1 seconds, but
you summed it up.
Yeah, that's a tough sequence. Obviously, but that's what we were just told. Lewis is going to go to the free throw line as he was fouled by Avila. I was surprised he didn't make that any more than a regular foul there.
No, that was he just bumped the guy going out of bounds. I think the way they adjudicated it was exactly appropriate.
Okay. All right, so one more for Lewis. Oh, that was it, and they throw it in, and this game's over.
Yeah, go right to the locker rooms. I like this coaching decision right here.
St. Louis wins at 88-75, and the Billikens are 25-2 now in the season, and they have won 20 straight at home, a new Chaifetz Arena record.